Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Aries in April 2020. Hello, Aries. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Aries, welcome to April. Right off the bat, my friends, happy birthday to you if you are celebrating in April, or if you were there at the end of March. I hope you guys have an amazing birthday or had an amazing birthday, depending on when you watch this. If you were surrounded by friends and family, hopefully you guys were taking safety precautions, because at this point in time in human history, things are a little crazy, right? Coronavirus, COVID-19 is a for real thing, and it's affecting so many people's lives. If you are affected in any type of way, Aries, I hope that you are able to push through. I hope that you and your family are staying safe. You and your loved ones are staying safe, and everybody's healthy and happy as much as can be. If you are having to alter your birthday celebration plans or your Aries season plans, I know a lot of you will be displeased about it, but again, it's for the general safety and wellness of everybody involved, including yourself and the people that you know directly, and of course people that you've never met in your lives, you know what I mean? So I think it's always better to be safe rather than sorry. So if you have to sort of, skip over, any type of celebrations that you might normally have, as difficult as it might be in the here and now, just think of how much potentially better it is in the long run. And, I just think, I don't know, I just have this feeling like some people out here are really looking at their birthday period with doom and gloom, and, understandably so. If you were looking forward to a certain trip, if you were looking forward to spending time with people that are close to you, I understand. But for the greater good, consider what you're doing. Consider the alternative, you know what I mean, and risking things that don't necessarily need to be risked, okay? But in any case, if you're not able to spend it with friends and family, I still hope it's a great day. We have many ways that we can connect here in the present moment. Lots of technology at our disposal, so get on Facebook and have FaceTime with someone. Get on the phone. Zoom is exploding right now, so there's many ways that you can still connect, even if it's not in the way that you absolutely desire, okay? So anyway, Aries, let's get into it. I have shuffled off camera. That is your main spread there. I will shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. Timestamp is in the description box if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is all the information you will need if you want to get a personal reading with me. If you have questions before you place an order, just go ahead and email me at the same address and I'll answer you as soon as I can. And a new part of the intro here is that I am on Instagram now, doing daily oracle pulls over there. So if you want to follow me, I'll pop a little something right about there. And you can see that is at EmpathicFire Tarot over on Instagram if you want to see me there. Again, daily oracle reads. Maybe eventually I'll do some lives over there. So if you want to get in touch with me on that platform, just go ahead and drop me a follow, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. Aries, let's see that outcome for April 2020. April 2020 outcome for Aries, please show me. Okay, something flipped. Nice. 2, though, so let's see what happens. Do I take both? Yes. Okay, you got a 2-fer. Lucky you. And I'm not going to fight them on it, because, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I got to read 2 cards for one position, but it felt incredibly right to take that. So we're going to move everything over. Sorry, that's my, please stand by music, which I think is from the dating game, like that old show from the 70s, I think. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Let's go ahead and flip what came face down for you, Aries, and figure this whole thing out. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, and let's get into it. Please show me where Aries is in April 2020. Where is Aries in April 2020? Please show me. Okay, got it. A little chilly there. All right, Aries, here we go. coming into April, you come in with the energy of the Fool card, secondary major arcana for Aquarius. You could be dealing with an Aquarius, but you don't have to be. All right, friends. So new beginnings, yeah? Starting off on a new path, a new road, wanting things to be sort of, fun and fancy free in your life. I feel definitely like this energy of like unbridled, like set me free, which again, the current state of affairs here in April 2020, many countries, many cities, many towns are in quarantine. They're in some type of lockdown across the world. And it's, we're doing social distancing. So this idea of wanting to get out, to be free, to be able to move in any way that you want is definitely going to probably come up thematically in most of the readings I do for April. But it doesn't have to be. But I feel that is a part of this for you, Aries. And again, it's your season, it's your birthday period. Again, some of you may have had plans that needed to be canceled or rescheduled. Or you're having to rethink, creative ways of how to celebrate and connect with other people. But more, this is more like of an internal thing. I mean, that sort of is surface, so to speak, having to deal with, the changes that we're all living in under the situation surrounding COVID-19. But what I feel more is particular for you deeper down, Aries, is, out with the old, in with the new. Whatever that means to you. That could mean, giving up certain behaviors. That could mean giving up certain relationships or certain connections. That could mean, changing your diet. That can mean changing your job. It can mean any and all of those things all at once. Who knows? But ultimately, the Fool seeks change, seeks newness, seeks a new path, wants to experience something that hasn't been experienced before. So, being the first sign of the zodiac, often Aries is seen as a pioneer, which, I guess you would be as the first sign of the zodiac, right? So I get the sense that you want to break new ground on something. Maybe some of you have like a sharp new business idea, or you have, a creative endeavor that you want to throw yourself into. If you're spending an extended period of time at home now, possibly if you're able to work from home, you might have some downtime, or, unfortunately, maybe some of you have been laid off or you lost your job, you've been furloughed in some type of way. And so now, okay, I have all this energy or these ideas that I need to expend, or that I want to, it just feels like I need to do something, period. I need to do something that's new, period. I need a new routine, a new hobby, a new relationship, a new connection. I need new things to watch on Netflix, whatever it is. This Fool card is just like, give me something more, give me something new. And I think that's really calling out from inside of you. It's really like bursting at the seams is what this feels like. And it's unfortunate because I think many of you are frustrated because you actually don't have any place to put this intention, or to put this energy that you have, this interest that you have, or it's very hard to get it started. If you have somewhere to find traction, it's slow to start. And it's frustrating for those who are relying on other people because, again, in this time where a lot of us are in an economic upheaval or a little uncertainty with our finances, right? You might finally want to get something started with a friend of yours, a mutual friend, or mutual friend, a friend of yours, someone that you may have had a great idea for in terms of business or creating a project, or maybe you used to offer a service that now needs to go purely into an online space, and you're kind of, all right, let's get on top of this. Let's make shit happen. And your business partner or other people who normally you would work with, or that you are turning to because they're a valuable resource, maybe they're less enthused. So for those who this is contingent or somehow focused on another person or other people, I feel as though you will be more frustrated than those who are dealing with just having to take the lead themselves. Aries, if you are kind of having to delegate or rely on other people, it's like, this is good. This feeling of being now, new, go is going to be even more, it's a little bit more, let's just say it's slower, or it has different obstacles. Let's say that, because your own heart, Aries, is what I feel with this Fool card. You know your own desire. You know what you want to move off into, and how you want to get things going, progressing down the line for yourself. You kind of have a head for this. You're already 10 steps ahead of everybody else, it feels like, in some kind of way. And if you have other people who you have to take along with you, or like I said, you're relying on, they're like, 5 steps behind. So that discrepancy or that difference between where you are and where the other people are or the other person is just going to exacerbate your annoyance even more. But, that makes sense. And I think that's kind of almost par for the course with Aries in most cases, or not even most cases, but in a lot of the times, that's how it is with Aries. You're ahead of the game. You're, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of someone else, and you kind of, are flustered that sometimes you might have to wait, or sometimes you might have to, backtrack and help someone along so that they can sort of catch up to you. And again, this is not again, but for the first time I will mention, it won't be the last. This is a general. I'm referring to Aries, but if you're cross-watching for an Aries or Aries, that you're the person that needs to catch up, go ahead and apply it. So again, the energies, being that it's general, can be flipped. So you're desiring this new start. You're desiring something fresh and exciting. Okay, thank you. The other part, for those where this is a spiritual thing, because sometimes the Fool can be seen as a spiritual card. Some of you are wanting a leveling up or some type of, yes, some of you are like seeking some type of change, because the Fool is attached to Aquarius, which is attached to the planet Uranus, right? And Uranus is about revelations, or excuse me, revelations. Well, sometimes revelations, but revolutions rather, or evolution, right? So the constant growing, disassembling, excuse me, sort of the status quo, and then rebuilding something new, very innovative, right? So in terms of spirituality, some of you might be turning to methods or practices that you're unfamiliar with. You might be studying. The Fool doesn't necessarily study, but the Fool would dive into a field of study that they're unfamiliar with and go in with enthusiasm. So that's what I mean. Like, they're not typically known to be a student, like the pages are known to be students in tarot. But anyway, so some of you might be, reading up on Buddhism, Taoism. Some of you might be, doing remote yoga classes. That's really popular right now. If you're sitting at home the majority of the day and, the most you're walking is from the couch to the fridge and back again, right? You're going to put on some LBs. So for those who are health conscious or wanting to maintain their fitness, you might be doing things that you've never done before. You might be a hardcore marathon runner, but, getting those runs in is kind of hard to do, or in some places it's ill-advised, right? So you might turn to these alternatives. This is what that feels like, okay? So what else happens for you, Aries? So yeah, you're doing this and you're dedicated to this. You are dedicated to this drive forward. Like I said, out with the old, in with the new. I think you're very conscious of that. That is the thing that you, yeah, we're going to go here, but what I was really referencing to was that 8 of Wands, but they want me to go here first. So the 7 of Pentacles, okay. So you have been in evaluation about this for a while. 7 of Pentacles is that, as you can see, she's kind of contemplating what's on this tree, evaluating what's ripe and ready for harvest and what isn't. So that's basically what's going on here. In terms of your finances, some of you, like I said, with this economic, topsy-turvy energy that's going on for many people, you might be looking at tapping into some of your savings accounts or breaking into your 401k to kind of make ends meet if you have to, right? Those are decisions that you have to make. Is it a feasible idea to do that, or is there an alternative? That's the explorative energy of the Fool. Can I make something happen over here with a side hustle so that I don't have to touch my 401k, so that I don't have to go into my savings, right? Those are practical ways of thinking. And the 7 of Pentacles often speak to practicality and the ways in which we are being savvy with our material resources, right? So money, in terms of saving money, you might be cutting off certain streaming sources. It's like, okay, we have tapped the the bottom of the well when it comes to Netflix, cut the service, which I don't think many people are doing at this time. I'm just saying, if you want to be extra savvy, you might, borrow your cousin's login and be like, all right, well, he's got more money than I do, so let me go ahead and cut my own service, whatever you're doing. But beyond the money and beyond anything material, I think that the 7 of Pentacles is you looking at the trajectory or the pathway of your life thus far, the timeline of your life so far, and you're like, okay, here's what I've accomplished and I'm happy with it. Here's what haven't really accomplished, or the area of my life that I think needs more work. It's evaluating. It's really, oh yeah. It's a big evaluate. Okay. Let me go back and explain kind of what they interjected there. A lot of you haven't done this before, which again speaks to that Fool card energy, which again was speaking to especially the part that I was just mentioning about your health. A lot of you have not considered health as a part of your resources. It is. But that's for those where it actually overlaps. The bigger part is some of you have never done this before. Why do I know that? Why do I know that, or why am I saying that? Is because if you look at this woman, her basket is empty. So she hasn't actually ever picked one of those pentacles off of the tree or any other tree, right? This is the first time she's come out to harvest. Yeah. So I get the sense that something status quo, which is kind of what I was saying about the Fool card and how it was related to Aquarius and Uranus, right? The status quo is dissatisfying when it comes to Uranus. Uranus is not into the status quo, and that kind of makes sense, I think, because I think there's like a big, or very, if not big, a very significant transit going on with Saturn and possibly Jupiter, but at least Saturn. And Saturn represents the status quo. And here you have Uranus showing up in your reading by proxy, again, being attached to the Fool card and Aquarius. And that whole transit, don't quote me on it. I know it very generally. And I was listening to a couple of videos like last week, but I've since been thinking of other things. So I'm not 100% on it. But Uranus is a disruptor, and Capricorn, excuse me, Saturn is not a disruptor. Saturn is like, let's have everything be the way it is, the way it's always been, and the way it always will be. And Uranus is just like, screw all that. And that's what I think is going on here. So you're looking at things that have been status quo in your life, and you're saying, screw all that. I'm tired of the status quo, or the status quo has only gotten me so far, and I want to go further. I want to do more. I want to have more. I want to experience more. Maybe it's a little greedy. I don't know. Yes, it is. Thank you. They're like, yep, it is. But I think you're doing it. Some of you are doing it in a reactionary way. Like, Aries gets bored or Aries gets complacent. Aries then, kind of goes off kilter a little bit, or can kind of become rambunctious, let's say, right? So I think a lot of you are looking at your life, looking at your resources, material and otherwise, looking at what you've built up for yourself so far, what you've accomplished so far in your life. And, Aries likes to challenge, and either you feel other people or life in itself is challenging you, or you're challenging yourself to, all right, based on what I have today, what can I do to create more for myself, or ensure that I have something better down the line, right? And again, some of you, this is the first time that you're doing it, because look again at the basket that the woman is holding there. It's empty. So some of you have never thought in these terms. I'm really getting this energy or this story surrounding your relationships and or your career and money making opportunities, right? I get the sense that some of you Aries are very financially stable, or you have enough to keep yourself afloat for the most part, but you want to not be put in this pickle again, right? So, the status quo for many, and according to economic statistics, most Americans, I think it's like 60% or 40% or something like that. Well, no, it would have to be 60% because 40 is less than 60. So I think it's 60. I could be wrong. Again, don't quote me. I hear facts and figures, but then I forget them quite easily. I just don't have a brain for statistics. What is this? Oh gosh, there's something on my face. Stray hair. Anyway, so I think it's about 60% of Americans make less than $40,000 a year or something like that. Again, don't quote me on these stats, but it's something in the ballpark of 60 and 40. So if you're one of those people and you're living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe you've just gotten yourself your head above water a few years ago, you have some, like I said, you have some money in a savings account, some money in a 401k, maybe you just started, thinking about investing, and then boom, coronavirus hits, and now you're not able to earn a stable living. You're having to tap into those savings accounts or those 401ks, and now you're just like, okay, I don't want to be put in this pickle again. you know, and you might have all kinds of beliefs about your government, your leadership, the people that you work for, whatever it is. But I get this sense of evaluating what you've done so far and how to make it better. So if you've pulled yourself previously out of debt, you've paid off certain loans, and you've gotten yourself to a stable situation, and then a crisis hits the entire nation, or rather the entire world, and now you're kind of back, your back is up against the wall again. It's like, no, 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 no. You might be having this conversation with the universe or with God or whatever you believe in or don't believe in. Like, no, 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 no. I made certain steps in my life so that I wouldn't have to be put in these predicaments again. Why am I being put in this predicament again? So you're like, okay, all right, universe, all right, God, I got you. So the next time around, here's what I'm going to do. And so I feel that you're formulating a plan. And again, it doesn't even have to be specifically to your money or your job. It could be about relationships. It can be about your physical fitness, or the way that you approach thinking about your health. Some of you might be getting into certain diets, again, with this newness that you've never explored before. Maybe you've been a carnivore, not strictly a carnivore, but you've eaten a lot of meat for the most of your life. You love, you know, red meat, you love chicken and all this other kind of stuff. And maybe you're kind of like, you know what? Now's the time. If I'm going to go vegan or vegetarian, now's the time to try it. I'm home all the time. I can cook all these new recipes that I've always wanted to try, but I never did. And so there's just like a, now that you're testing me, God, universe, you know, whatever is out there, now that this crunch time has happened and I'm a little bit pressed up against the wall, I don't want to do that again. I do not want to be put in this situation again. I won't allow it. They're like, not allowing it, not allowing it. So Aries, you're being very forceful, and that makes sense. You know, fellow fire sign, I get it. When we want something, when we desire something, we're very strict about it. We become very fixated on our desires, and I mean that's kind of, you know, what we're put here on earth to do. So between these two, you're being, where's my water? There it is. You're being very self-centered in a way, but I think it's in a way that is healthy, quote unquote, because so far I'm not sensing strongly other people and how it's affecting them in a negative or adverse way. I'm not sensing that you're stepping on people's toes, or you're snatching, you know, you're snatching bread off of somebody else's table, so to speak. I think that your focus is, I want more for me. I want more for my stability. I want more to enhance my life, my experience, my knowledge, my know-how, my ability to make money. Like, this is about enhancing the self. So that's good. Okay, there it is. And that's why they say it's selfish energy, because you do have the Four of Pentacles right next to that Seven of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles is kind of what I was saying about the Seven, but this might be the motivation of the Seven, because the Seven is more, for me, action oriented, and it's more looking into the future of, okay, well, if this goes to plan, then that will go this way, and da da da. It's like laying out a strategy, right? The Four of Pentacles feels like the reasoning of why you need a strategy, which again, for some of you, you came up, your resources have come up short in a certain way, or you're having to tighten the purse strings in a way or in a time that you don't want to, you know. I'm not sensing, well, okay, there it is. I'm like, why am I even talking about this? Some of you have participated, and, you know, no shade, you do what you want. I don't see the reason just yet, but, you know, they are letting me know some of you have participated in that hoarding thing that was going on at the start of this pandemic, which you have your motivations, you have your reasonings, and your capability to do so, go ahead. But they're letting me know that some of you did that, and maybe it was a little too over the top. Okay, I don't know what you did. I don't know who you did it to, but maybe, you know, somebody turned their back and you yoinked, like you snatched away a package of toilet paper, or you snatched away something from somebody else's shopping cart. Maybe you did that. Maybe one or two of you did that, or something to the like. But there was this sense, or there is this sense here of protection, protecting the self, protecting your family, protecting what is valuable to you. That's the Four of Pentacles. Protection and withholding. It can be miserly or stingy or selfish, yes, but I mean, as the empathic person who's here, hi, how are you? Jay is the empathic reader. I get, and this is, a thing that I sometimes find myself feeling guilty for, is that I'm able to sympathize with someone who does something quote unquote bad, right? And sometimes I'm very angry at people that do the quote unquote bad thing. And in this moment, you have my sympathy, Aries, because I feel that your motivation isn't to hoard these items or to hold back in some type of way, or to, be careful with your resources in order to lord it over other people, or, resell and jack the price up and price gouge to make a profit. If you did that, if one or two of you did that, I don't know, friends, I don't know how that will affect you karmically, but we all make our choices. We all have free will, my friends, right? But what I'm getting is the sense of you see or you saw a need to cover your bases, and so you did it the best way you knew how. Let's go with it being said that way. And I as an individual, I can't fault you too much because, again, we're all different. And I'm not supposed to judge you as the tarot reader. I'm not. But what I'm sensing here on this whole bottom line is you want things to be different going forward. Therefore, you have to deal with or examine what has led up to this point. What have you done personally with your money? How have people been assets to your life? If this isn't about, hoarding toilet paper and stocking up on canned goods, right? If it's not about that, and if it's not about just saving your money and counting your pennies, if this is about building relationships, business, family, lovers, whatever it is, there's this sense that in all cases, in all realms of your life, in all facets of your life, going forward, I don't want to make the same mistakes, or I don't want to be put in a situation where I'm going to be in need of more than what I have. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to live outside of my means. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't want to live outside. I mean, I know what that means in terms of finances, but like they're giving me a little bit of a story with a person. Pardon me. Okay, for those where you are in a partnership, friends, family, lovers, whatever it is, I get the sense that maybe someone else's bad moves have put you on the hook, right? So someone may have made a bad investment, someone may have overspent, and now, you don't have enough money to cover certain bills. And so it's kind of like this retaking of the reins, taking back the responsibility and putting it on your own shoulders, because, like, I think I said this, you are frustrated if you are having to rely on other people, if other people have a say in what is going on financially within a household. You're kind of like, just let me do it because I'll do it right, and I won't, put us in a bind financially. We're not going to owe creditors this much money, or we're not going to miss a pay date because, I'm more organized than you, Sally, or whoever it is, So yes, so this is, okay, here we go. A little bit of a change in gears here, because the previous things I was saying about these three cards, I felt I was more talking about people who are able to take care of themselves, single people, basically. Here, I'm getting the sense that, and it will apply to single people as well, but for those where you're living with other people, you're in relationships with other people, you share a business relationship with someone else, or a creative relationship, whatever. Ten of Wands. Look at this guy being looked at by those deer, those bucks in the background, right? Carrying this load all by themselves, all by himself, right? I get the sense that some of you are like, well, just let me do it. Very, very, if I'm honest, very Virgoan of you. I find Virgos usually have that attitude. And me mentioning that, you might be dealing with a Virgo, but there's this sense of like, let me do it. Let me do it. I'll take care of it. And Aries can be that way, It could be because you're impatient in some of your cases. Thank you. Yes, if that's that 10, 5, 6 steps ahead thing, and then people being 3, 4, 5, 6 steps behind you. It's like the come on, catch up with me. Come on, meet me here. You know, why are you so slow? How come this isn't finished right now? Okay, well, let me take care of it and then we'll be caught up together. It's like this, I can't wait for you. I can't I can't stand having to come back behind you and clean up your mess. That could just be speaking specifically to like literal domestic issues. You live with the roommates, you live with your children, you live with your husband or wife. Why am I cleaning up after you? You're 64 years old. Come on now. You know, if you're married to someone for a long time or even a short time, whatever. But there's this feeling of I am going to take this burden onto my own shoulders in order to move this thing forward because the momentum is so strong in you, Aries. This desire to keep pushing and going and progressing is just like, it's insatiable. And the other side of that is with this 10 of Wands coming up for you is that it is also super tiring. It makes you fatigued. It frustrates you. It stresses you out. It angers you in many cases, right? So you're sort of volunteering or, okay, thank you. In some cases you're volunteering. In other cases you're like forcibly like telling people, no, just like forget it. Let me do it. Just like kind of angry, like just stop. Just stop. I got it. Move over. Get out of the way. Hand me the papers. Hand me the computer. Let me take care of it. And it's just like, okay, that can apply to work as well. And you don't have to do this. That's the other thing about the 10 of Wands when we see it in tarot. It is a willful act. Look at this guy. He willfully somehow decided to put 10 wands on his back. Look at how he's dressed. Look at where he is. Well, not where he is, but look at how he's dressed. This is a human at some part in our history where we had tools. We had, you know, little wheelbarrows or other little pieces of equipment that would allow us to haul 10 wands. There is a smarter way to carry that weight, to carry that burden. But this person, you Aries, or the cross watcher, you know, again, it can be flipped. So whoever is doing this, they willfully do it. You do not have to carry that burden the way that you are. You could carry each of those wands one by one. You could split it in half and go 5 by 5, you know, 2 wands at a time, one in each hand, whatever. Or, you know, not the deer, but we're definitely in a place in history where we have beasts of burden. Go get a horse, get an oxen, get a donkey, load that creature up with the heavy weight and make it carry it for you. There's a smarter, less aggravating, let's say it that way. There's a less aggravating way to plow through this energy, through this complication, through this whatever you're doing, whatever you're facing. But I feel as though because you're impatient or because you're so in that momentum, there's no, it's kind of like you don't take the time. Yeah, you don't take the time to take a breath and think through it. The power and the tenacity is there. That's on your side. You've got power, you've got tenacity, you have the energy, even though it's tiring, even though it's frustrating, even though you wouldn't prefer to do it this way, you bolster yourself or you rally yourself to do it this way. And again, I'm getting the sense of like forcibly taking over, forcibly telling someone, just go over there, leave the room, just move aside, let me handle it. And again, I can't tell you what to do, but that's what I feel you're doing. And I'm like, you don't have to. There's some sense here that you don't have to do that. But yeah, there you go. But you're the king of the castle or the queen of the castle, whatever. King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So this could be you, Aries, and it could be someone else. But if I'm honest, it feels like whoever is in the 10 of Wands, which I think is still you. But you know, this is the can do, get out of my way, I'm in charge here. And, you know, the King of Wands isn't always so demonstrative, isn't always so forceful, but when the fire is hot, the fire is hot and the fire burns. And that's what's going on here. This desire is building up inside of you. Thank you. It's like a locomotive. Wow, look at me using an old ass word like that. But I guess that's more, I guess that would be more in line with what I'm picturing. A locomotive, like a steam train, like those old-fashioned trains where you could see the wheels chugga, 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 not like an Amtrak train, right? Where it's what, electrical. So it's like coal drives these things, or steam trains, right? Chugga, 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 right? And to get that train up to speed, you have to build the fire in the, I guess, the furnace. I don't know. I'm not a train aficionado, but you throw so much power or so much fuel essentially into the furnace, I suppose, that builds that fire, that makes that train go faster and faster and faster down the track. That's what this is. You've built yourself up to a point where almost you're about to explode, and you have no choice. And again, this is more the empathic side of me that feels this. This is probably more your rationale, Aries. I have no choice but to take matters into my own hands. Other people have proved themselves to be too slow, too inept, if I'm honest, the way you're thinking, too stupid to do things the right way. I'm in charge. I'm going to take over the show. Let me handle it. And you're going to do it. You have done it, even though it's burdensome, even though it's not exactly what you would have desired. You would much prefer to not have to carry the weight of other people, but if that's what you choose to do, who can stop you? Nobody. You know? So I get this sense of taking charge, even though you don't want to. Like, some of you might even like throw that in someone's face. Like, I don't want to have to do this. You made me have to do this because of X, Y, Z factors, because of this, that, and the other. I have to step up and do things and take care of the show. I got to step up and take care of this household. I got to step up and pay these bills. I got to step up and finish this project because, you know, and that could, and that's a very real thing. And I would be very cautious if you're super critical of other people, if you're working from home on a team setting or on a team project and you see other people are not coping as well. You know, this is just an outsider's perspective. You do not have to do this, but you know, you don't know what that person is dealing with. You know, a lot of us now with this being home from work and being quarantined for weeks on end, stir crazy feelings get riled up. People get cabin fever. People get depressed and anxiety. All kinds of things are happening because we're not able to be social in the way that we're used to, or just move about the world. You know, I'm sitting and looking at the same four walls that I have looked at for the past 2 weeks, me personally. Now, I'm okay with it, but some other people, that would be too much for them. So I would be cautious, Aries, for those who might be looking at other people, especially in a work setting and even also in a domestic setting, you know, people that you know and love. How come this? Why are they doing that? Oh, it would be so much easier or so much better if they did it this way. Or move out of my way. Move out of the way, Sheila. I'm going to take care of it. And it's just like, you don't know what's going on in that person's life. Or you don't know how that person is coping with their situation or coping with whatever. So I would be cautious to be so critical. But again, who am I talking to? In Aries, I dare not try to tell you guys what to do. You make up your own minds, okay? But I feel that in combination, you're being very demonstrative, or you're being very much a control freak, so to speak, and no one is going to talk you out of that. Or I don't think you're able to view it any other way right now. You know, this is only for April. Tarot is not science. It's not set in stone. This is just what has come out in the moment. This is what I'm feeling energetically. Some of you are on the high end of that, being very, you know, iron fist about it. Others of you are on the low end and you're being a little bit more open-minded or a little bit more flexible, let's say, not open-minded, but flexible. And some of you are right in the middle. I'd be cautious either way. But because your starting card was the Fool, and that being a huge driver, because the Fool is like, I got to do this. The Fool is really not attached to the past. And your reluctance, and you just can't, you cannot, and I don't blame you, you just cannot be satisfied and contented with what you've been doing up until this point. You want something new and fresh, something that, where you're able to stretch your legs. What is that? Stretch your legs. Show what you're made of, basically. Or show that you're competent, or show that you're able to get the job done, or show that, you know, life. Some of you are like going back to that conversation or that strain that's in the reading. Some of you are like having like conversations with God or with the universe. Oh, you think it's thank you. I was like, there has to be a scene in a movie that is kind of like this. And don't take this as I'm not criticizing you, or I'm not saying that you're being rude or anything like that. But many of us have seen that movie Forrest Gump. And in that movie, after Lieutenant Dan reunites with Forrest and he goes and becomes like his first mate on the boat, and they get caught in that huge storm, and Lieutenant Dan is out in the storm laughing at God, pointing at God. You think you can take me down? You can't take me down. And he's like laughing. I feel you guys are kind of in that headspace where God, the universe, spirit, source, whatever you think of, Buddha, Jehovah, whatever, you're like, you're trying me. You're trying to take me down, but you can't. You're throwing all these monkey wrenches in my way. You're having me cancel my own birthday party, cancel my trip to Tahiti, cancel my trip to the Bahamas. Oh, and and now this happened. Oh, and then all of a sudden I lost my job, or I'm not, or now, this happened. And you're just like, come on, bring it on. It's like testing, like, come on, try me. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Ha! And that's why I said that. Because I said you're kind of having a conversation with God. Go ahead, do it. I believe in that. I believe in speaking out loud to the universe. That's what I do. I would be a liar if I haven't also felt that way before. So I'm not throwing any type of criticism your way. But regardless of whether you're talking to God or spirit or whatever deity you believe in, but this is about expression more than anything. This Eight of Wands is about expression. You're being very vocal, very honest, very open about what you desire. So in other words, in combination, the combination being it touches the Fool card, it also touches the King of Wands. That's usually how I connect cards when I put them in the 6 card like this, right? So you're being very vocal about who you are, what you want, how you want it, when you want it, what exactly you see for yourself, the details of the matter. Because the King of Wands can be very particular. Thank you. The King of Wands can be very particular, right? So if you are working on a project, and this whole time you could have been a boss, I should have said that with the King of Wands, especially coming out, you could be the lead on a project, or you could be the owner of the business that, you have people working from home, and maybe, people, your employees are not really stepping up in the way that you wanted them to, or they're having a hard time transitioning to working at home, and you're just kind of like, but come on, we're all, it's like, it's like this attitude of don't be a pussy. No offense to anybody, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. Is like you're looking at, because this is communication, and in modern senses, this can also talk about emails and text messages, right? So you might be getting emails from the people that you work with or the people that work for you, and they're like, oh, I'm just, I'm finding it hard to be motivated now that I'm in the house. And you're kind of like, are you kidding me? I'm at home too. We're all at home here, Susan. We're all at home here, Jamal. We're all at home here, whoever, right? So you're just like, please stop whining and moaning and saying it's so hard. Just do it. Now, if you're the boss, yeah, and if you're smart and you're conscious of your words, you would be careful with transmitting that through a message, right? But your sentiment on the inside is just like, I am pushing through. Boom, boom. And here too on the bottom, but particularly the 10 of Wands and the King of Wands. You're like, I'm making the best out of a shitty situation. Why aren't you? And again, I told you this starting out with the Fool. If you're relying on other people, or if you're in close proximity or having to work with other people, you will be disappointed that they are not able to push through the way that you're able to push through. They're not able to execute the way that you're able to execute. So you are in some ways telling them this, hopefully not as bluntly as I was expressing it here. Hopefully you have some sense of decorum. I think most of you would. You're professional. You're not going to tell them they're being an idiot, but you will, you'll doll that up into a much more constructive criticism, But I get the sense of, if someone were to ask you, hey, Aries, what are your plans for this? You would tell them straight up. Even though we're all working from home, or even though this is the circumstances that we're all dealing with, the plan hasn't changed. My plans haven't changed. Aha. That's the other part, because the Fool is able to adapt to the uncommon a lot better than other cards in the tarot or other members of the major arcana. Like if this was the Hierophant out here, the Hierophant is like, status quo, I love that. Everything is predictable. It's the way I knew it would be. And then everything that's going on in the world, the Hierophant would be like, oh no, change. The Fool is like, okay, change. It might not be the change that I wanted, or it's not the change that I predicted, or it's not the change that I was expecting, but here I go. I'm going to put my best foot forward. That's the Fool card, right? I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to roll the dice and see what happens. I'm going to adapt. And you're adapting, and other people around you are having a hard time doing that, and you're just like, oh, come on, and you're frustrated. Interesting. Now your outcome, Aries, for April. As you saw with for those who were here at the top, you got a twofer, which is very, not unusual, but sometimes I take them, sometimes I don't, and I was compelled to take them this time. So you got the Two of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. So Queen of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, could be dealing with an Earth sign, but this is kind of a curveball because, you know, for some of you, this has been about a relationship, a domestic relationship with friends or family members, or a romantic relationship, sure. But this is a curveball because that Two of Cups is kind of like, I don't know where that's coming from. So, excuse me, you might have an Earth sign that is important to you. Could be a spouse, male or female, doesn't matter. There's no gender in a general reading. But this might be the person who motivates you to be so staunch, to be so severe or serious about what you're doing and how you're moving forward, and being very logical and practical and measured and being step by step by step, but also having like a very, what is this? Yeah, that locomotion thing, that chugga, 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 like there's no stopping your train. There's no stopping your progress, right? So you might have a motivation with a person who is significant to you. Two of Cups sometimes can indicate, you know, romantic love, but we're talking about a general. So this can be, you know, your children. This could be, you know, like I said, your spouse, could be your parents or other significant people in your life, your best friend, your business partner, whatever. Regardless, I feel that if this is another person, they might be not only the reason that you do what you do, or why you're behaving in such a way, or why you're not behaving, but why you're motivated in the way that you're motivated right now. But they also could be a calming figure to you, or energy towards you, Aries. This Queen of I almost said Queen of Wands. This Queen of Pentacles is known to be a nurturer, yes, not as nurturing as the Queen of Cups would be, but a very grounded person, a very centered person, somebody who normally doesn't get flustered. Let's say that, because the Queen of Cups can become emotionally overwhelmed. This person would have their emotions in check. This person would be very, you know, weighed and measured in terms of their emotional expression, or the ways in which they are volatile with their emotions or upset, right? This person has a good fashion sense, or just looks good to you. They're physically attractive, or, you know, they're just pleasant to be around in terms of aesthetic. I don't know why I have to point that out, but aesthetically, they are your type. And that can apply to just friends. You know, some people are like that. Oh my God, you wear Uggs? Oh, I can't stand it. You know, some people would be totally not friends with a person based on their fashion sense. But I get that this person pleases you with their aesthetic. I think many of you know this person. You've known them for a while. Others of you, you don't know them that well, but, you know, when you come around each other, it's a very peaceful or amicable, amicable? Maybe not amicable. That's not the right word. It's a pleasant exchange whenever you guys talk, whenever you guys are able to meet up, even though you're not supposed to be social. If you don't live together, don't go visit this person. But whenever you guys speak or see each other, it's very pleasant. I just get this sense of pleasantry, pleasant. It's pleasing to you. It's pleasing to them. And you have a mutual respect for one another. If you're in love with that Two of Cups, you're definitely in love. Like or if you think you're in love, or you're wondering, yeah, it's mutual. You both love each other. If that hasn't been expressed yet, it's probably coming in the future. It feels good. And if I'm honest, like I said earlier, Aries, most of this has been about you. These 6 cards over here, if not all of them, have been primarily about you. This is the first time here in the outcome where another person has shown up, and it's calm. I wish I could explain it better, but I feel a little more relaxed. I feel more easy, like my muscles, thank you. My muscles feel a little bit easier or less tense in my body. Thank you, that's the word, less tense in my body. And that could be how this person affects you. They take the stress of the day off of your shoulders. That burden that you willingly carry, that burden that you know, charge towards and say, well, I'll just take matters into my own hands and fix it because nobody else can. And then you come home, or, you know, you come out of the home office, you come out of wherever you're working from home, whatever room you're set up in, right? And this person is, hey, how was your day? Or, hey, I got you a beer. Or, hey, let's watch a movie, or, you know, whatever. And they just, the tension of the day washes away when you're around this person. And they're super mature. You're a king, they're a queen. You're both masters in your own rights. You both do things very differently, right? Maybe you're, you know, opposites attract if this is a romantic situation, right? King of Wands is very fiery. Queen of Pentacles, very calm, very demure, you know, not no fuss, no muss kind of energy, right? But also, again, aesthetically pleasing, whether that's, you know, romantic or just friends, whatever it is. There's something about just looking at this person makes you go, ah, and you're, you know, you immediately feel released of any stress. That's very powerful. Your overall energy, 4 of Wands, kind of is, I hope, what many of you were able to take away here. It's kind of been the overtone of the entire reading. What's your motivation here? What are we talking about? What is this concern? This concerns your stability, Aries. This concerns matters surrounding your household, your physical home, the home in which, or the way in which you're support. Oh my God, come on, talk. The way in which you are able to support yourself and the people that you love. So that does sometimes indicate your job or the way that you're able to keep yourself afloat financially. And the 4 of Wands for me is, it's a constructive period, which kind of filters me back down towards the 7 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles a little bit. It's like, okay, as you can see, they've built this what do you call this? I never remember what the hell you call these things, but this thing with the 4 posts. This has been constructed. That's not like a natural, you know, thing that you find in the natural world. This isn't like just naturally sitting up in a meadow somewhere. People had to construct this. So what have you constructed thus far? Is it good? Can I rely on this? What do I need to add to what has already been built up until now to make it stronger, to make it last even longer, to make it more secure and sturdy, right? So I think that as much as you have something that you can sort of point to and say, this is what I have so far, again, you're still thinking of, but what else can I have going forward, or what else can I gain going forward? In terms of other matters, thank you, pick it back up. Regarding the home, you've got the bunnies there in the foreground. You have a child, a small child standing in front of the woman. So some of you, this is about extending your family, either through marriage, because the 4 of Wands is sometimes called a marriage card. So some of you, you might be getting married, or maybe your wedding has been postponed because of this coronavirus thing. I don't know. But some of you might be married already, or you're getting married, or you're looking to expand your family through adoption or pregnancy, okay? Aries, that is your reading for April. If you liked it, you know what to do. The like button is down below. You can leave me a comment. That would be great. That is also done down below. You can share the video. That is also, well, if you're watching on your computer or your tablet, that's down below. But if you're on your phone, I think it's within the box or something like that. Anyway, if you want to share, you can share. And if you haven't subscribed, my friends, go ahead and subscribe. That would be amazing. The numbers continue to grow around here, and so I'm looking forward to seeing our little family, our little crew here get bigger and bigger and bigger, yeah, as I continue to, you know, produce all this content. Aries, I will be back soon to do your live. That is the next thing I'm going to do for you. I'm going to be live here on the channel Empathic Fire during your birthday period. If you have a question for me, I will do your reading for free on April the 11th, which is next Saturday, April the 11th. I think I'm going to go, I was doing 7 p.m. and that felt pretty good, but maybe I'll change it. I'm not exactly sure, but it will be the 11th. The exact time, I'm going to announce that later on the community tab. I'll put it up on my Instagram account. So if you could check both places to see when I'm going to do that, if you happen to see me pop up in your notifications on the 11th, just come on by the chat and ask a question. After that, I will be doing the mid-Aprils for you guys, and then you'll have to look forward to the May readings and so on and so forth as I continue to plug away with the content here. Again, I'm over at IG at EmpathicFire Tarot if you want to join me there. And I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye.